Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining on time. We'll just give a few more minutes for others to join in, and then we will get started. In the meanwhile, I have posted a poll in the WhatsApp group. May I request you to kindly respond to that poll? Those who have not responded to the poll, kindly respond in WhatsApp. And those who have not got a 64 GB pen drive, I request you to kindly make that investment. It's just a few hundred rupees, less than what a movie ticket costs today. But it will really help you in the long run, especially with respect to data center installation tasks, because it will give you a good experience of how to reimage a machine with the operating system of your choice. So the process may differ a little bit from what we are going to do with Proxmox versus somebody else, but the another software, but the core concept will remain the same. We'll just give one more minute and then we will get started. Any questions or doubts with respect to the basic Unix or Linux commands that we have learned so far?
No, sir.
Okay. And are you guys and girls able to log into Killer Coda and do some practice of the Linux commands as a part of the tutorial? Yeah, unless you practice, it's very difficult. Uh, Later, you may do mistakes, and in our line of work, if you're in a production environment, uh, you can't afford to do any mistakes. Okay, so I sincerely request you all to kindly do some practice of the commands. If you all are already done it before, then no problem. Otherwise, please spend some time in practicing the commands. Okay, let's get started. I'll be sharing my screen. We'll log into Killer Coda and we will learn about a few more Linux commands. And on Monday, we will, uh, show you how to enable Hyper-V. Probably will take my colleague Bhanu Teja's laptop as an example and show you how we can enable virtualization on a Windows Pro or Windows Enterprise machine. And parallelly, I will also, maybe take one volunteer and we will see how to install Proxmox, okay, on your laptop. And for that, we'll have to download certain software. So I will share the link on WhatsApp. You all should be able to download that software and keep it in your machine. And we will be using that. and the USB drive, the 64 GB USB drive to do the activity. Okay. And once you have your labs on your laptops, it's going to be, you don't have to depend upon any other machine. Your laptop itself can be converted and used as a lab to practice Windows and Linux administration. Okay, let's get started. I'm sharing my screen. I hope you are able to see my screen.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you. So logging into Killer Coda. I'm already logged in. Going into the playgrounds. We'll be start opening Ubuntu. And yes. Okay. So today in the class, we are going to learn about user administration. Okay. Users and groups. So about user IDs, creating user IDs, okay, and things like that. So please pay attention, and any questions you have, please do ask. So the first command that we see here is called ID. So what happens if we press this command ID? So whenever you enter this command ID, it will give you a lot of details about the current user that is logged in. Okay. If you see here, the user that is logged in is root. Okay. And as we all know, in Unix and Linux, root is the main user or the super user or like the administrator. Okay. In in Windows, in the backend, every user is given something called as an SSID. Okay. That is a alphanumeric way of identifying a username. In Unix or Linux systems, every username has something called as a UID, which is nothing but a user ID, which is a numerical number. Then it has something called as a GID, group ID. Okay, again another number. And then how many groups is the user part of? Okay, this is the nomenclature. Okay, now we understood in some of our earlier classes that if we type this command, who am I? Okay, it gives you what is the user that is currently logged in, but it does not give you all these details. Okay, it just gives you the username. Okay, as you can see, when I type the command, who am I, and the dollar prompt or the shell prompt, we will only get what is the username. Okay, we will not get any other details. But to get more details about any particular user, we enter this command called ID. And the moment you enter the command ID, you get more details about the user, like what is the user ID, UID, what is the GID, and what is the group's number. Okay, these all details are there. Now, if we have to understand who all users are configured on the system, not just who is logged in, okay, then you type a command just who. Okay, so apart from root, there doesn't seem to be any other user here, and that's why it did not return any other value. Otherwise, when you click on who, you actually get a list of all other users that are there in the system. Okay, now let's go back here. Now, if I have to get this UID, GID information about a specific username, okay, about a specific username, then the command is ID space, you give that particular username. So example would be ID space, if I have to give a username, I give like this, root. Okay. Now, if I give something else like this, user 01, It says no such user because that user has not been configured on the system. Okay, so only for the users that are already configured in the system, you will get the output, okay, of a specific username. But if that user does not exist on the system, it simply gives an error message saying that this particular user is not there on the system. Okay, very simple. Then we had seen in our first class and second class that this particular command ls minus l, okay, is used to give lot of information about the file or directory. So let us see that. What is the command to see which directory we are in? PWD, present working directory. Now, if I have to go back to the previous directory, so I type cd dot 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 dot, two dots in succession is for previous directory or parent directory. Okay, so I enter cd dot dot. Then you see I go to the root. Now I type pwd present working directory. I get the root. We are in the root. Now in this root, when I give this command ls minus al, we get all this information about what all files and directories are there. And we understood that this information is nothing but the information of the user who has ownership onto this particular file. Okay, and we can see what level of ownership is also there, okay, using these permissions. Now we will learn about these permissions a little later, more in depth, how to change it, how to modify it. Okay, but we know that D means a directory, L means a link, and if it's a blank like this, it's a file. Okay, D is a directory, the first letter D is a directory, L means a link, link means like a shortcut, and if nothing is there, then it's a file. And RWX, R stands for read, W stands for write, and X stands for execute. Okay, RWX, read, write, and execute. Okay, this is the nomenclature. And here is where we see the user who has access to this particular file, link, or directory. Okay, that is what we see here. Now going back, if you want to view the owner of a directory, use the minus LD option. Okay, let us try that. So we enter this command ls minus, oh, sorry, again it has become slow. ls minus LD. I press enter. Okay, so you see present working directory, which is dot, it gives us the details of only that particular directory. Okay, and it tells us who is the owner of this particular directory. Same information for everything else we get here with this command ls minus al. Only for specific directories you want, you can specify ls minus ld, and if you don't specify anything, it will give for the current directory. If you specify a particular directory name, it will give for that particular directory name. Okay, so if I want to you know understand about a particular directory, you have to give ls minus ld space the directory name, like that. So I use the directory name var. You can see from the above listing that var is a directory, and then I get the details of only that particular directory. What are the permissions? Okay, how many subdirectories are there in it? Who is the owner? What is the tentative size of that particular directory in bytes? what was when it was created and all that information. Okay, clear? Very simple. Any questions? Similarly, we can list out ownership for directories as well as files. So I'm not going into the details of this. So the command is very simple. Instead of using ld, because you're not wanting for a file, you just give ls minus l and the file name. That's all. And you will get the user information. Okay. Now we get into the next command. Okay, the next command is called as PS. Now this is a very important command, especially used by people who are doing support jobs. Okay, like customer support or backend application support, uh, to understand what are the processes that are currently running in the system. Okay, so if we, I'll just clear this. The command to clear the screen in Linux is clear. In Windows, it is CLS in the command prompt. The screen is cleared. We come back here. Right. Now I enter the command PS. Okay. PS means processes. Okay. That's all. Very simple, word processes. PS means processes. Okay. And every process in Unix will have something called as a PID. That means process ID. Okay. This is the ID using which the kernel of the operating system is going to identify which process is running. Okay. Okay. It gives an ID. So for example, I ran this command PS. That was also a process and it has given it a process ID. Okay. This shell prompt that we are using on top of the kernel to run our commands, that's also a process. Okay. And you see it has been given a process ID. Okay. Now, what are the other columns? Let us understand. The other columns represent more information about this particular process. Okay. So TTY is basically the terminal, okay, using which you are logging into that particular, process. So here you see TTY, okay. So when we and see whatever under TTY, that means using that we have logged in. Now here in this case, we have directly logged in, so it is showing as PTS0. Okay. So PTS0 means you have directly logged in, not through any external entity. So there are ways in which you can externally log in as long as you have network connectivity to a machine. So that we will see later. There are some tools like Putty or any SSH editor. Okay, secure shell editor you can use to remotely log into a machine, so that we will see later. And when you do that, you will be able to understand using which terminal, a user has logged in and what is a terminal ID. Okay, it also gives us for how much time this process has been running. Now in this case, these commands and this shell, okay, this PS command and shell hardly run for a few microseconds or nanoseconds, right, on the system, and hence you see just 000. But if it's a long running command, then you will see a lot more details. Okay, so let us try to identify if there are any other long running commands. So we will use the A option, -A option, to view all the processes, including the system processes. Okay. And with the A option, if you give the -U option, then you will also find an additional column which will specify who is the user that has initiated that particular process. Okay. So let us see in our virtual machine here, what are the existing system processes and who is the user. Okay. So as you can see the difference here, when I gave this PS command without any options, it just gave me those processes which this particular user was running and had run. Okay. It did not give any system processes. Okay. Whereas once you give minus a option, it will even give internal system processes. Okay. And it will also tell you that this particular process is using how much percentage of CPU, how much percentage of memory. Okay. So you can see here that there are so many five different processes that are currently running inside this virtual machine. And these five different processes, what is the amount of memory and what is the amount of CPU they are using and what is the process ID, okay, PID, process ID, you can see here. We can also see who is the user who to whom this process is associated. Okay, we can see that this user here is root. And we, as we have understood earlier, we can see which is the terminal that is used to run this process. Okay. And we see what is the start time of this process and how long it has been running. So we see that our bash shell is also a process. Okay. And this ps minus au command that we have run, that is also a process. And there are some other internal processes that are going on, and we can see those also here. Okay. So this is very much similar to in Windows when you open up Task Manager, right? When you right click on the taskbar in the bottom and you open Task Manager, you can see the list of processes that are running in a Windows system. Exactly the same thing you will be able to see here also in Unix, but only thing in command prompt, you have to type ps minus au. Okay. There are other details also like this VSZ, RSS, okay, stat. We will talk about them later as we get into some advanced concepts. Then we'll understand what these are and how do you use these information to troubleshoot. Okay, now yesterday we had seen this particular file, right? This particular file contains the passwords of all the users in the system, right? Now let us again try to view that file. Oh, sorry. Okay. So you see here, these are all the users that are there in this particular system. Root, then we have a user called daemon, then we have bin, then we have sys, okay, then we have sync, then so many other users, right? We have not created any user by ourselves. These are all users that are there. Now, this is the user that we are currently logged in through the virtual machine, and that is what we see here in our prompt, Ubuntu colon. So this Ubuntu is the user that we are using. And if you see here, the home directory of this user is this particular folder called slash bin slash bash. We have also seen that the password here is in an encrypted format, and it is that's why denoted by an X symbol. Okay. And then you have the user ID, the group ID, the username, and which is the home directory of that particular user. What is meant by home directory, we will talk later. You can understand, just relate saying that every user will have something called as a parent directory, and that parent directory is called a home directory. Okay, so that is mentioned here. And this is what we have understood about the entries in the password etc password file. Okay, then what is a group? Group are logical, aggregation of multiple users. Okay, logical aggregation of multiple users is called a group. So let us see what groups are available in our system here. So give the command cat. space slash etc slash group. That is where the group information is stored. Okay. And when we press enter, so we see that these are all the groups that are there in the system and what is their group ID. Okay, we see the group ID and you can see there are so many other users that are already present, so many other groups that are already present in this, and we also see our root. Okay, the group ID is 0. So the user root will always be in a group called root with the group ID 0. Okay. And we see our user Ubuntu. It is part of a group called Ubuntu where the group ID of this is 1000. Okay. We see that information here. Next, what? So we already know what is there in password file. We already know what is there in the group file. Okay. And we know what this command ID, what it shows up. So we have already seen this. Now let's get into creation of users. Okay. And granting super access. Right. So we used this command in our first day of the class. It is called SU, where SU stands for super user, right? So the moment you run this SU command, it will switch to a different account. Okay, whichever you want, you can switch the you to whatever account you want like this. So let us try this. So currently, who is the user that is logged in? Who am I? If you put this command, you will see that you are logged in as root. So if I want to change user, SU, switch user or super user, then after SU, you have to give a hyphen and you give the username. In this case, I'm just giving the username as Ubuntu, which is the user that has been created in this particular system. And I press enter. Okay. So you see now the prompt has changed. Can you see this? Earlier, this was our prompt. Okay. The shell prompt. Now the prompt has changed. Okay. This is my prompt. It's saying, oh, this is the machine name. Ubuntu is the machine name. And who is the user who is logged in? The user Ubuntu has logged in. Okay. Now, how do I confirm? Again, you can type this command. Who am I? Now, what should come as the output? Ubuntu. See, earlier when we were at this prompt, when we typed who am I, okay, we got the output that the current user who is logged in is root. But once we use this command called super user or switch user hyphen Ubuntu, we ask the system to log into this particular user called as Ubuntu. Okay, and that is what has happened. So don't get confused by these two words Ubuntu and Ubuntu. One is the system name, okay, the host name. This second part is the host name, okay. The second part after the @ symbol, that is the host name or the machine name, okay. And the part before the @ symbol, okay, the part before the @ symbol, that is the username, okay. In this case, both machine name and username are the same, but that will not be the case always. Okay, many a times machine name will be different from the username. Okay, any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay, just a minute. This has become slow again. Okay, we are at this. Now, if you want to go back to root, since root is the default, super user, okay, you don't have to mention anything. Okay, just give switch user hyphen minus. You don't have to mention anything. Then it will ask for the password. Now, we have not set any password. Okay, how to go back to the root user? So I just attempted, yeah, it says authentication failure. Okay. So I don't know the root user password. The administrator has not given me. So unless you know the password, you cannot go back or switch between users. Okay. So this is that's why Unix and Linux machines are very secure machines. Okay. Uh, it is not easy to, break in. Uh, when okay, when you want to see, okay, what all attempts have been made to log in by various users, you can see the content of this file called secure. Okay, slash, it will be there in the slash var directory slash log. Oh, wait. Which directory are we in? We are here. So what we should do is, when we are giving this cat command, we should give the complete path from not present directory. So we'll do cd root. So now we are in this directory, and now we give slash var slash log slash second. Okay, in this it is not there. So what we will do is, we'll see what are the files inside this. Yeah. Now we see here. See, various distributions of Unix and Linux will have different files. Okay. So here we have a file called syslog. So let us try to see the contents of syslog. So I will say right space. We are in this directory called slash var slash log. So I'll say dot. Dot means present directory, and slash, I'll give the name of the file. Okay, and then I press enter. The moment I do this, whatever is the content of that file, everything will come. And you can see along with system date and time, all the incidents are being captured here, right? So who has done what command has been run, okay, if there are any errors, okay, all those will come here, okay, all those will come here. Now, if you see here, it is just simply, output, giving the output of the entire command. But I want the command to come in the form of a page, page after page. Okay. So very simple. When the output is very high from a number of lines perspective, and you want the display to come in a page by page fashion, what you have to do is you have to uh, add one more command to it. Okay, so this is not possible in Windows. Okay, output of one command as input to another command. Okay, that is not possible in Windows. It's possible only in Unix and Linux. Okay, so in Unix, one of the ways in which you can redirect the output of one command as the input of another command is by using a symbol called pipe. So this symbol will be there above your um, backslash on top. If you go to notice your keyboard, above enter, there will be a backslash, not forward slash, backslash. Above that, there will be a single line. Okay, and you can print that by using shift. So shift backslash will give you this uh, called pipe. This is called a pipe symbol. Okay, and after putting a pipe, you just give an option or a command called more. Okay, more is the command in Unix or Linux that will paginate. Paginate means give the output in the form of pages. Okay, there are other options to more, but we will see by default what it comes. So any output of any file or any command, if it is too long, okay, and you want to see it in specific number of rows or pages, then you just pipe that command into another command called as more. Okay, the moment you type this, see, it gives you certain things and it waits. The prompt is waiting there for me. Okay, the moment I press space bar, then it gives me the next page. Okay, again I want to go to the next page, again I press space bar. Okay, again it will go to the next page, like that. Can you see it's moving to the next page? Again I press space bar, it moves to the next page, like this. Okay, so as you can see, you can channel the output of one command as an input to another command. That you can do in Unix. Okay, so what are the two commands that we channeled or piped with each other in this case? The output of the cat command we have channeled or piped it to as an input to the more command. Okay, very simple. Now instead of pressing space bar, if you want to quit, I mean, you have seen the information, you don't want to keep on going till the last page. Okay, you can simply type Q. Okay, you can simply type Q on the keyboard. Q means quit. Okay, Q means quit, and it will no longer show you the next pages. Okay, whatever pages it has already shown, it has displayed already. And see here, it says broken pipe. Broken pipe means I broke the pipe by entering Q. Okay, and as I told you earlier, this is called as piping. The output of one command we are giving as input to another command. It's called as piping. Now let me show you a few more options here. You can have more, and you can say this is so slow. Okay. I have just added one more option next to more called as -5. So let's see what happens. So at a time, only 5 rows of information will be shown to you. Okay. So this also we can do, right? So not only can you break down the output into pages by using more command, but you can also specify how many lines do you want to see in each page. So I have given, I want to see only 5 lines in each page. So whatever is the output of this command, showing the content of the syslog, I have piped it to this another command called more. More allows us to page the output in multiple pages. There also, I can specify how many lines I want to see in every page. Okay. So like this. Now I want to quit. So I am pressing Q. The moment I press Q, I'm going to come out of this. See, very simple. Now let us say I want to see 10 lines in a page. Okay, what I should do? Instead of -5, I should say -10. Okay, very simple. And press enter. It will show me 10 lines. Okay, you understood the difference? Earlier, only 5 lines were displayed. Now we are displaying 10 lines. Again, I'm pressing Q on my keyboard and it will break the pipe here and will allow me to enter my next command. Now this thing is not possible in Windows. Okay, it is possible only in uh, Unix or Linux. Now see, I will show you something else. I can do multiple pipes. Okay, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. Let me show you. Okay, and I can pipe it one more time. Say whatever is the output of more, I want to pipe it to another command. Okay, I put one more pipe and I give one more command called head. Let's see what happens. Okay, see the command head by default will give only the first few lines of that output. Okay, so we did two pipes here. Okay, and there is no limit in Unix. How many ever pipes you want, you can keep on adding. Okay, so what am I doing here with this command? Please see carefully. This is the first command. I am displaying the content of the file syslog. Then what I saw, oh my God, syslog contains hundreds and hundreds of lines. I cannot see all the lines at once in the screen. So let me break it down into pages. How did I break it down into pages? I piped the output of this command into one more command called more. What does this command more do? The command more will help to divide the complete output of any command into pages. Okay. And just before this, we saw that using more command, I can also define how many lines per page I want to see. So we had given -5, -10. -5 means only 5 lines it will display. -10 means it will display only 10 lines like that. Furthermore, I don't want to specify any number of lines. I just want to see, okay, what is the top portion in that particular output? So I give this head. Similarly, I want to see what is the last portion of the output, only the last portion. Okay, so obviously there should be a command for the last portion also. So that command is tail. Just like head, you can say tail. Now let us see what is the output that we get. Okay, so instead of head, I am writing tail. So again, let us understand whatever is the output of syslog given by cat command, that output is going into this second command called more, which is trying to divide the output into pages. And now from that, I am only wanting to see what is there in the last portion of that output. Okay, hence instead of head, I will say tail and press enter. See, that's it. I get the last portion of the output. Okay, tail. Can you see here? Okay, only the last portion or the latest portion I got. Okay, now here is where I will introduce a very, very powerful command to you. It is called as grep. Okay, grep, grep. And grep command is used to find whatever you want inside a output or inside a file. Okay, so what we are going to do is this output, I am going to give it to another command called as grep. Okay, I'll tell you what grep stands for. grep. Okay, grep. Grep stands for general regular expression. Okay, general regular expression. Okay, and after grep, you can give whatever you want. Okay, what is that you want to find? Okay, you can give text, you can give lot of permutations and combinations. Okay, so let me show you how to effectively use the grep command. So for example, you want to see all the logs with a error in it. Okay, so I simply say grep or find from the output wherever there is this word called error. Okay, wherever we have this word called error, I want to find from the output. Okay, and I press enter. See, you see, whatever we had given in grep, it is coming in red color and it is showing that, okay, this line has got this word called error. Okay, now if you see here, even though we gave more, did we give, did we get the output in the form of pages? We didn't get. Okay, why? Because of the sequence of the piping. Okay, this our sequence of the piping was not correct here. Okay, because in the previous command, what we did after it got paginated using more, we are giving grep. So obviously, we are not getting the right output. So what we will do is we will change the sequence of this piping. So we will put the grep command first in the pipe. So whatever comes out of cat syslog, we will first filter it using grep. So grep can also, you can think of it like a filter. Okay, grep, you can also think of it like a filter. Any output, any content in Unix, you can filter it for the information that you want using grep. And I will also show you other combinations of grep. Just give me a moment. It has become a little slow. So the same command, first I will give grep and filter. that give everything that has the word error in it, and whatever is the output of this filtering, okay, that part we will paginate it or see it in the form of pages by using more. So as you can see, you can interchange the sequence of the piping of the commands also. Okay. It is not necessary that you have to follow a particular sequence, but obviously you have to know what that command does, and only then you can understand, okay, how to change the sequence of this piping. Okay. Now, obviously, filtering needs some data, right? So that data is provided to grep command by this cat command, concatenate command, right? So whatever output cat is throwing, that output using the pipe will become an input to the grep command. What does grep command do? Grep command does filtering. Okay. So we are asking the grep command to filter the entire output and find out only those lines or content where the word error is there. And now we are saying whatever that comes out after filtering, we paginate it or you show it to us in the form of pages by using the more command. And I'm pressing enter. Okay. That is what we see here now. See, now it is showing in the form of pages and the prompt is waiting for me. Okay. See, this is how you can do multiple, pipes. Now here, instead of more, okay, I can use the other head and tail commands also. So let me show you. Instead of paging the complete output, I just want to see the top few lines with error in it from syslog. Okay, so instead of more, I just give head. This will also work. I pressed enter. See, it is giving only the first few lines where error is there. Similarly, I can put tail also instead of head. Okay, like this. Then it will give last few lines. Pressing enter. Okay, now it is giving the last few lines. Okay, so like this, you can be very, very creative in terms of how you want to use pipes. Okay, any combination will work as long as you know what those commands are doing. Okay, now let me show you a few more uh, variations of using the grep command. So in grep command, you can also use regular expressions. Regular expressions means wildcard characters. Okay. In Windows, we know that wildcards are like asterisk, percentage, hash. Okay. These are the wildcard characters, right? The same wildcard characters you can use in Unix also. And let me show you how to do that. So I want to see everything. And when you're using wildcards, don't use double quotes, use single quote. Okay. Double quotes means exact character it will search for. But if you give single quote, then it will consider the wildcard characters also. Okay. So I have entered star asterisk. Okay. Asterisk. And I want to see um all the lines where the word critical is there with something before or something after it. So I said asterisk critical and close the quote and press enter. Okay, there is nothing in the output which has got critical. Okay, so that means no critical errors in the logs. So let me change this, and I want to find all the lines where the word Ubuntu is there, like this. I close the quote, single quote, and press enter. My spelling is wrong, so maybe we'll not get any output. Yes, expected. I'll just correct the spelling like this. Okay, now let's see. Okay, again, any so now this is a wrong thing. Okay, because we see that in the above output we do have certain letters with Ubuntu, but still it is not showing. So something we did wrong with our uh, command. Okay, so let us try to correct it. So let me just remove the asterisk and show it to you. Yeah, we see the output. So that's how we can use the grep command. Okay, then I will show you one more. So let me use a couple of wildcards. So anywhere where I find the word cron. Okay, so there is no value called cron, but we see that there are words. So what we have to do, only the word cron, we have to put in quotes. And you press enter, still nothing. Okay, maybe we are
Need
doing
to remove
something
star
wrong.
sign.
Sorry? No, I want to
Star
show you
symbol
how
need to
to
remove.
use the star. So I'll just take examples from here and we'll see. Don't worry. Okay, so we saw how to use these commands. Okay, so we will just go to the next. Okay, we will see how to use or add users. Just wait. Okay, yeah. Now we introduce another concept in Unix called variables. Okay, this is there in Windows also, wherein certain predefined values will be stored in these variables. This is very similar to variables what we use in algebra or programming languages, right? So you say int integer x is equal to some value, right? Similarly, in Unix and Linux or even in the command line of Windows, you can actually see certain predefined values that are already there in the system, and you can also create your own. Okay, so we will see how to do that. Let me clear the screen. Okay, so we say echo dollar home. Okay, so this is the home path of this user called Ubuntu. Okay, there is one more variable called path, and you can see the complete path actually. So it's there under slash user slash local slash sbin. Okay, and then in bin binary also, and in sbin also. Okay, these are all the paths. 5 minutes left. Now I want to show you how to create a new user. Yes, this is the command. Okay, the command to create a new user is called user add. Okay, so I will add a user called Sudeep. Okay, cannot, because we are not in root, and this particular user Ubuntu does not have access to add a new user, and hence it said permission denied. Let me do one thing. Let me try here. So I've opened one more terminal. Who am I? Root. Okay, and say user add Sudeep. Yes, user has been added. Okay, now I say cat slash etc slash password. I pipe this command and I say show me the user Sudip. It's there. Okay, and you can see encrypted password, UID 1001, GID 1001, and this is the home path. Okay, like this, right? It's very simple how to add a user, right? Just use the command called user add. But we have not specified any other options to the user, like uh, if you want to make it part of any group. Okay, Then you can give the minus small g option and give the group ID. Okay, we can do that. Right now, if you see here, this user is not part of any group. Okay, it's there in the same thing. So what we can do is to make any modifications, you use user mod. Okay, this is the option user mod, and you can say username Sudip minus G, and you give the group ID of some other, group, right? So how do we know which all groups are there? We had seen earlier slash etc slash group. I want to make this part of the root. So I'll find out root is 0, or let me find out which are all other groups that are there. So let me try to put it in this group called backup. It's 34. Okay. Yeah. You see there, backup is there with group ID 34. Now let us see here what is the command used to change the group ID of a user mod. Okay. And you can uh, set the GUID for it. Okay. So let us try to do that. User mod. Think I'm out of time. Yes. So just a minute. Hmm. Great. So one question, do you think our user will still be there? How to find out what is the command? The user Sudip that we created, will that user be still there? What is the command to find out? Come on, boys and girls. Any answer? Okay, what is the command to find out the list of users? Where is it stored? The list of users. Slash etc slash password,
UTC.
right? Yeah. So I have to see the content of this file and grep for the content with this name. See, it's not there. Okay. Why? Because that session got deleted. So whatever we did in that session got deleted. So what I will do now, I will create this user again. User add Sudip. Okay. Now when I give this same, I see my user there. Okay. It got created. Now what I will do, I will modify this user and we let us see that you group backup is there or not. So where are all the groups stored? In the file called group, and let me check if this group called backup is there or not. Yes, it's there, and the GID is 34. So what is the command to modify the group ID of a user? User mod minus G, I'll say 34 to the user Sudip. That's it. Okay. So now you give this command. What is the group ID? You see, earlier the group ID was 1001. Now the group ID is 34. Okay. So like that, you can make an existing user part of another group. Okay. And every group may have certain privileges. So we'll talk about privileges in our next class. Okay. But this is how you can just create a user and make it part of a group. Now, to this user, we have not specified any password, right? Now, how do I do that? Very simple. The command itself is password, and what is the username? It is asking me to enter the password. Just for your all information, I'm using the same username itself as the password. It will ask me to reconfirm. Password updated successfully. Okay. So now again, I see this file. It is there, right? So the username is there. The password is encrypted. This is the user ID. This is the group ID. This is the path. Okay. Now I want to switch to this user. Okay. So how do I do that? What is the command to switch to this user? SU, switch user. Switch user, Sudip. Okay. Now, who am I? I am Sudip. See, I get it. Like this. Very simple. Okay. So we cannot go back because I don't know the root password, but that's okay. We can always create a new terminal. And okay, we don't have, but yes, we have the user created here, right? But how am I logged in? I'm logged in as root. Okay, clear? See, this machine, this tab was a different shell. Okay, so in this shell, when I tried to switch user, I could not because I don't know the root password. Okay, the whoever is the owner of Killer Coda, they will not give the root password. So what I did, I just created one more shell. Okay, now in this shell, whatever commands you had run here are not visible in the history, but whatever was the impact on the machine, okay, at the machine level, right? All that is still there, right? That's why even though I created my user through a different shell, the impact happened at the machine level. So whenever I'm logging in through another shell, through another user, I will still see those changes in at the machine level. Okay. So this is how Unix works. So every session is a shell, a different shell. One shell can be logged in through a different user. Another shell can be logged in through a different user. But whatever changes you are making at the machine level, all the users using that machine, as long as they have the permissions, will be able to see that. Okay. So we've understood how to set the password also. So we have done this. Okay. Any questions? Any questions on whatever we have seen today? So we have seen piping, we have seen more, we have seen how to create users, we have seen how to add the user into a group, we have seen how to give the password to a user, we have seen how to move from one user to another user, we have seen with to the same machine how one user can be logged in through a different shell and another user can be logged in through a different shell. Okay, so all these things are possible. We have also seen process ps command. Okay, which user is owning which process. Okay, so you see here our newly created user Sudip is also running a process which is nothing but a shell. Okay, how this has come? This has come due to what we have done in this shell in this session. Okay, here we have switched user, right? We are in this user called Sudip. So because of that, we are in this shell, and that is being seen here in the list of processes also. Okay. Any questions? Any doubts? Okay, please do have your USB drive for Monday. Okay, we're going to start the Proxmox installation on your laptops uh, in over the weekend, starting from today evening till Sunday. In the WhatsApp group, I'll be posting certain links from where you can download the software. Basically, I have already downloaded, so from my OneDrive, I will give you access. So please use those links to download and keep the software. There will be 2 to 3 software which I will request you to download. Please download it and keep it, and do buy that 64 GB pen drive. It will be of a lot of use going forward. Any questions? Please feel free to reach out on the WhatsApp group. What we are learning now is very basic, Linux commands, nothing very complicated. As and when we get your own labs, I will show you how to install third-party software onto Unix or Linux, and from there on, it is going to get really interesting. Okay, there will be a lot of troubleshooting and all. Any questions? Okay. Thank you so much, boys and girls, for your time today. We will meet again on Monday. But in the meanwhile, please do see the previous class recordings. Please do practice the commands, Linux commands in Killer Coda. Okay, it will give you good practice sessions, right? So that when we do the advanced stuff, it becomes easier and easier for you. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day and a good weekend ahead. Bye bye.